Welcome back, everyone. And after that great interview with Andy, I'm now here with Ruth Jones. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Joanna. How are you?
I'm good. Just a little introduction. Ruth is the Director of Business Development at Ingram Content Group. And today we're talking about Aerio, an exciting new development for authors. So, Ruth, tell us, what is Aerio and why should indie authors care about it?
Well, so I think the reason that anyone would want to care about Aerio is that it's a really great tool for selling books. And when an indie author gets engaged, they're really in control of their own marketing. So Aerio has two sides to it. The first side is a suite of marketing tools that creates widgets, samples, an ability to push your samples out to social media and to direct your customers back to stores, which could be any number of stores that you define. And for you also then to engage or use those samples to capture emails. So that's really important, right? Because getting to know your authorship, your readership as an author, and really starting to capture those emails means you can start a line of communication that builds your brand. So that's the first thing. And that is a paid-for service. It starts at $25 a month or $250 a year. For an indie publisher, it's going to be easily enough because that allows you to load up to 20 ebooks. So I assume that's going to be enough for starters. But it's really good because you start to see the analytics of, okay, when I start to post this sample of my book with some narrative onto Facebook where I already have a good following, where do they go? Do they go and buy? Can I get them hooked in the next in a series, in a sample, and I can set a deadline, a place within that book and say, okay, if you want to read more, give me your email. You can decide to do that or not. You can decide how much friction you want in that relationship. So it gives a really good opportunity, I think, for the indie authors to really start to engage beyond broadcasting, which is great, but starting to see what is the result of my engagement. So that's the first thing. And it's all very well laid out on the Aerio site. And literally anyone can use that service. The second part is really for those indie authors who are wanting to sell into the US market. Right now, this is North America only e-commerce. But think of it this way. If your print book is available through Ingram, and a lot of print books are, most print books are in some shape or form, then you can literally, for free, log on, create a store, and sell your books by other people, create a reader, and you literally have a bookstore in 3 minutes. I've shown so many people how to do this. And you can do the same thing here. You can start to tweet, to push onto Facebook, to push out to Pinterest, and create a Pinterest page of books I really like. So people can start to engage with you. They don't have to be your own books. And you can start to sell those books and you'll take a margin. What's happening there is we've got this really cool software that's allowing you as an ebook or P retailer to be able to pull Ingram's catalog. And you can create your own metadata as well. So, I mean, I've done some jokey things on my site for demonstrations. But, you know, if you really admired, I don't know, Jan Martel, and who wouldn't, then put why you care about that book. That's on your site. You can still push that widget out with social media. And you could be selling that book, delivering direct from Ingram into your reader's front door, if you like, same delivery mechanism that everyone uses within the US. Yes, you'll make a margin, but it's an opportunity also to start to gather the emails. And so I think what you'll see there is there's a real suite of products here that for indie authors or indeed for publishers with multiple authors, you can really start to communicate about books, what you're reading, and really direct people to your site, which is the Aerio site, as I say, North America. Or indeed, you could point people to, in the UK, you can hear from my accent, Waterstones, to Amazon. If it's ebooks only, it's Kobo. We're not trying to completely disrupt the eco chain. But what we're trying to do is to give you some insight and some opportunities to really hold on to the relationships you can build with your readers.
Wow. Okay, there's so much I want to ask you about that. There were way too many things there. Okay, let's just start with the second thing and circle back to the first thing. So, because the second thing is all I knew there was. I didn't know about the first thing. Now I know about the second thing. So the second thing, from what I understand, so an author can, say, have a page on their website, like I might have books for writers, and as well as having links to my books and samples of my books, that print books or ebooks or whatever, but where I can sell, let's just stick with print because I think that's Ingram's kind of point of difference. So I can sell those. I can also sell other people's books and act as like a bookseller, and I can get paid a percentage from that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's just awesome. I hope everyone's kind of let that sink in, because that means that we're all of us are readers, and we're always recommending books all the time. So I think this is brilliant. Exactly. It's another revenue stream. So you said selling into the US. Does that mean an author outside the US can still use Aerio, or do you have to be based in?
Absolutely. As long as your book has rights to be sold in the US, and it's in the Ingram catalogue, and any Spark author's books will naturally be there, or any publisher who works with Ingram for print on demand. And you can easily look up the books on the site, and there's plenty of information in the site about how to do that. You can curate your collection. You can create collections. So you might say, I really love books about, I don't know, fantasy fiction. So you could do that. Or you could say, actually, I'm just really interested in cookery books. So you could just as easily do that. And yes, you're right. And so if you think of this, anyone can sell a book anywhere in North America. That's my bracket. Give us a moment to go international. But if you think about it, if you're a US-based author and you want your primary authorship readership is US, and that's it's the world's largest book market after all, what a great place to start. But it doesn't preclude somebody writing in the UK whose books are available to really use it to market to a US market. And you can easily, with your own books, then say, I love these books, etc. And if you're outside North America, hey, here are some great bookstores that stock this book. You can use the marketing widget that you create for your book, or indeed you can create for any. But if you use the marketing widget, the bit you didn't know about, then you can use that to start to point people elsewhere and use that for engagement outside. So, yeah, there are two sides, and I'm really excited about the first one, the anyone can sell a book anywhere. I see that as completely disruptive technology. So we're ramping up right now. But a lot of people, to your point, you've got your own site, you have your own e-commerce, right? So if you were to use Aerio for marketing, you could use that globally and just have all of your widgets point back to your site and maybe one other bookstore that you like particularly. That would be fine. Or you can have many more, but that's up to you. What we've seen with some very, very large publishers, some of the largest trade publishers, is that they do want to point to their own site, but they want to see what consumers do. Do they always go to Amazon? Do they go to Barnes & Noble in the States? Do they go to Waterstones? Do they go to whoever else? And because you can configure the buttons, you can see that. But yeah, in the first piece, anyone can sell a book. If your book's in the Ingram catalogue, there's 14 million. I'm sure you'll find something you like. But you can really use that tool and embed that in your website. We've seen authors do it themselves without telling the publishers. That's always great. So, hey, we couldn't help but see your fitness site, and you've taken the widget and dropped it in your blog and done other things. And like, yeah. And the publisher said, what? What do you mean this is? And of course, the public, from a point of view of the transaction, it's just as if Ingram sold the book to a standard independent bookstore, to Amazon, to Barnes & Noble. There is no difference. And you're getting the margin.
Yeah, and I think this is so important because we are shifting to a direct to consumer kind of approach, and it's great that Ingram's recognizing that, in some of these technologies. So just to be clear, the first option, the marketing tool, is available to anyone, and you don't need to have your books on Ingram Spark, so anyone can do that.
Absolutely, and that's chargeable.
Right, and then Aerio for the print, for the sell any book type of thing, has that?
Aerio Book Network, yes.
Okay, does that have a charge?
No.
No, and that is for selling into the US only.
Correct, right now, yes.
Yeah, so just, we haven't really said how Aerio is spelt, or, because it's spelled funny, isn't it? So just tell us where people can find it.
Technical terms. So it's spelled Aerio. And the website is www.aer.io.
Ah, yes, that's one of those new suffixes that has appeared.
It is. It's obviously very trendy. It's way beyond my pay grade to know why that's trendy. Happy days.
Happy days, exactly. No, that's very cool. You also mentioned that you have a demo. Is that available at that site so people can have a look?
Yes, if you go to that site, there's lots of videos. There's lots of really good social content there, talking about how to promote your books, what to do. I was just looking at just now, there's a lot of material there that I think would be useful, even if you didn't use Aerio, if I'm honest. We've really focused on trying to give as much assistance as possible, walk through demos. I very rarely find people who can't use the site. I mostly find when I set up sites, if I'm talking to people and say, well, I've created your site now while we were talking, they're quite scared. But I think, lots of microsites for the individual really make sense. And we have seen, particularly for well-known independent authors who do have a following, the type of author that may have a radio program, may have other things that they do, and then they produce a book, that this works brilliantly. The combination of social selling and Ingram's infrastructure, it's really very powerful.
Yeah, it's such an exciting time. So is there anything else that authors need to know about Aerio, or should just people go check it out?
I think go check it out. I've probably talked far too much about it. I get way over enthusiastic and start saying, you could do everything. The thing here is, if you take control of how you communicate and how you build an audience, it's really daunting. I know that. But that is one of the most powerful ways to get people to gather around what you're trying to say in your book, no matter what kind of book it is. And I think once you start small, you start to see the ripple effect of what you're able to do. And it's something that, being agile and independent, indie authors are in a really good position to take hold of this technology.
Well, thanks for your time, Ruth. That was great.
My pleasure. I hope that was helpful.